Hey, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Don, and today's video is going to be about what to do if you are not admitted into a grad program. Now, to begin, I want to first and foremost acknowledge the difficulty that may come with a rejection letter or being waitlisted. Now, the difference between the two is that to be flat out rejected, that just means that you were not admitted into the program for many reasons. It could be due to space, or it could be due to the competitiveness of that cycle, or it could be out just something that was outside of your control. But in some cases there are things that's within your control, and that's kind of a good, and it's can feel like a bad thing, but it's really a good thing, because that means that we can make changes and we can proceed accordingly, and that provides hope. So I so that's that. And then to be waitlisted is to not be admitted, but you are still viewed as someone that is desirable. And so what happens is, and this is usually done on the undergrad level, but this can happen on the graduate level as well. I was actually waitlisted from a doctoral program in 2018-2019 cycle that I applied to PhD programs. And so when you are waitlisted, what happens is you are told that they could not offer you a spot at this time, but if a spot becomes available, they will give it to you. And so that is an honor in itself. And so for me, that was something that was really honorable. Now, when you are waitlisted, there are some things, depending on the program, they will let you know things that you can do, if there is something you can do. And then but in most cases, like my case, all I could really do was acknowledge that this is still, a program that's desirable. And I was able to say that although it was my third choice, by the time I heard back from that wait list, I was rejected from the other two programs. So I was able to communicate and say, hey, this is my top choice, and if admitted, I will attend. So that's something that you can do. And then outside of that, a lot of times it's just waiting, unless there's like significant updates that you can provide the admissions committee. So to backtrack, what are some things that you can do if you are not admitted into a program? So the first thing that you want to do is you really want to reflect and evaluate your application. You want to see what are some areas of concern. And so if it's grades, did you provide an addendum? If not, that may be a tangible thing you can do. Or if you have, if you've ever received any disciplinary actions or something of that nature, whether on the legal level or on the academic level, that's something you may want to explain. You also want to learn if it's a deal breaker, because some programs may not accept you because the profession may be more rigid in terms of who can practice, depending on the legal record that a person may have. So that's one thing. But I'm thinking more so like, okay, if I'm applying to a statistics program and I have all C's in my statistics classes, one thing that I may be able to benefit from is completing a post-bac program where I complete classes in statistics or whichever area, if it's a clinical psychology program or something like that. You will want to take courses on the undergrad level to help bring your GPA up, but to also show mastery in that content. And so you could do a DIY or you can do a formal post-bac. I can make a separate video about the two, and that can help increase your competitiveness. The next thing would be within social work. If it's not necessarily your grades, but perhaps it's your service, then you can always look into post-bac service opportunities. So, Teach for America, City Year, Peace Corps. There are so many options for you that not only make you competitive for admissions, but would be a great scholarship opportunity, because many schools offer or have partnerships with these larger service programs where you can receive, like I know some programs offer up to half tuition, some for ride, if you are an alum of a program. So sometimes it may behoove you to complete a service program. Some are paid, some are not. Like Teach for America is paid. I was actually accepted to Teach for America, which is pretty competitive. It's like they compare it to being admitted to Harvard because of the acceptance rates. I deferred my acceptance and then ultimately decided not to do it because I chose to pursue therapy. But this is an amazing opportunity for those who may be interested in teaching or, again, working with underserved populations. So I would consider that. The last thing, so you have that, and so you can do a service project, or you can get a job out of undergrad, or if you're doing a second master's, get some time to work, get some experience under your belt, to really live a little bit so that your application can be mature and you can also speak with, it's not always about passion, but clarity, that there's like a sense of direction. So sticking into that realm with your application, you want to review your personal statements. You want to review your research statements and see, it doesn't make sense. I can't lie. When I looked at my master's program, I did a video on that. I'll link it below. I read my personal statement for my master's program. It made sense for me to be admitted. It was clear as day. I had a sense of purpose and it was clear. And there was a nice flow. There was a cohesiveness. For my doctoral application, not so much. The cohesiveness was not there. So, and also like the writing sample, I recycled one from grad school from my master's program when applying to doctoral programs. And that research paper was on a completely different topic from what I was expressing interest in the doctoral program. And so these are observations that I made for myself, which is why I do the work that I can do, because I'm able to also look and learn from my mistakes and share that with you all to say, hey, don't do this, don't do that. This is, things that we're looking for, as well as just my experience of being on an admissions committee. So it's important to look at your personal statement, look at your why, make sure that it makes sense. And even if it makes sense, is that the right program? Because it's not just about the program. It's not just about you being a good fit for the program. It's about the program being a good fit for you. And so there are some cases where if you want to do something very specific and that's all you discuss, and you're applying somewhere that does not offer that specialization, or you want to do research if you're applying to a doctoral program and you want to research something so specific and no one's researching that in your department, and you don't create that correlation of it being interdisciplinary, then there's a good chance that you will be rejected, because it's not a good fit. There's no one there to mentor you, or you won't be able to take classes to create that specialization that you are seeking. So, those are things that you want to be mindful of. The next thing would be your letters of recommendation. It is okay to touch base with your recommenders to, ask if they, had any reservations, or how would they rate the level of recommendation? Like, is it a glowing letter? Is it one that was without reservation? Or did they say something that was, potential that maybe raised a red flag for the admissions committee? Because that can happen. You have some professors or previous supervisors or colleagues who will say yes and then not write a strong letter. So it is important before you even accept them as your recommender, that that they are going to write you a strong letter of recommendation. But again, it is okay to ask questions. It's okay to say, hey, I am just reflecting and I'm just curious as to, how would you rate the strength of your letter? And if there are any concerns, share them with me. And you may be surprised what may come of that. Outside of that, you want to look at the program's preference. Some programs require more letters from faculty members than, colleagues. And if you apply with the opposite, then that can impact you. Some programs, like, nursing school, for instance, I think NP programs require you to have at least one letter from an NP. Or, med school, they look at, a letter from a physician matters, or a strong one, of course, but still, because they want to know that you know what you're getting yourself into. So those are just all things that you can do. And then outside of asking other people, you can look at your own relationship with them. You can be reflective. Did I just accept this person because I asked for letters too late, and the people that I really wanted to write it, they weren't available, or they told me no, or what have you? What happened to, and why did you select the people that you select, and was that the best decision to make? The last thing I will mention is, if you are applying to research-based doctoral programs and you have no research, then it may be important for you to gain research. So again, I talked about, if you're applying to practice-based programs, it may be good to get some entry-level experience before applying. But if you are applying to research-based doctoral programs, or even research-based master's programs, it may behoove you to get a position as like a research coordinator, and get some publications under your belt, or gain some solid research skills to be a stronger candidate to doctoral programs. I know for me, I will not apply to another PhD program unless I have at least one publication under my belt. I just won't do it. Or I get a second master's and graduate with a thesis. I just won't go down that route again. So I hope that was helpful. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and comment in the comment section below, what your application season was like. And finally, if you'd like to work with me to strengthen your chances of being admitted, I'm more than happy to work with you. You can book an appointment in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and until I see you next time, be you, be great.